I like the way the Lord works when He does that, because then everybody's hearing what they need to hear. Something I sent out this week that I thought was interesting. I sent it out as incompetence at the highest levels, and talking about how the Air Combat Command is having a stand down on September 14th. Why would they broadcast this unless they want some kind of plausible deniability in case something happens on the 14th? Oops, sorry, we were having an attack, or we were having a drill, we were having a stand down because we needed to update our security. Plausible deniability, folks. Because why else would you announce that you're going to have a stand down? And of course everybody wants to know, is there going to be an economic crash? What's the idea with the stock trading and all that? And like I said, the Bible Code just reveals that there's a lot of drama with the economy in September. And what I find interesting, and I don't really understand numbers and stuff, I'm not a genius, I'm not the smartest crayon in the box, is that the people I know that work in the banks have told me, personally, and that don't even know anything about the Illuminati and don't get on the internet and read all this stuff. And they told me that there is the Amero, and the exchange rate for the Amero to the dollar is going to be 10 American dollars for every 1 euro. Every $1 in euro. So it's a 10-to-1 exchange rate. And I just, I sent something out the other day telling people about this, because imagine if you've got $1,000 in your bank account, now you've got 100. When this exchange rate takes place, now you've got $100. Or if you've got 100,000 in the bank, you're going to have 10,000. Or if you've got $100 in the bank, you're going to have $10. Can you imagine the chaos that this is going to cause? Everybody losing their money in the banks overnight like that? And so, I'm not saying this because I have some kind of a love for money. I don't even have any money. But what I'm telling you is start buying stuff, folks. You got $10,000 in the bank right now, and next week it's going to be $1,000. You could have spent that other $9,000 on food and water, medical supplies, stocking up for the things that are coming. And so that's what I'm encouraging people to do. Use wisdom, first of all. We may have another year or two before this Amero exchange takes place. But don't be stupid either. Don't be caught with, a ton of money in the bank and then having no food stocked up, no water, no medical supplies stocked up to protect yourself from the coming famine. So that's what you want to do, folks. And like I said, use wisdom and just ask the Lord to reveal to you what you should do. I know He's told me that He's given a lot of people money, blessed a lot of people for these last days, and they're going to lose their rewards simply because they weren't seeking Him on what they should be doing with it. And so you don't want to be caught in the last days not doing your job for Him. We're all put here with one life, and He's given us all jobs to do. And only when you seek Him can He reveal to you what it is He needs you to do, what He wants you to do. And that comes about with having a relationship with Him, and that's why the churches never teach about having a relationship with the Most High. You go to church and all you hear is Paul this and Paul that, and the KJV this and the KJV that, the Bible this, that. The Bible becomes an idol. So many people, probably 98% of Christians, put their Bible before the Lord. They'll study that thing, they'll worship that thing like it's Him Himself. It's a book. His Word was the Torah. When He talked to His apostles and He talked about His Word was the Torah. The KJV didn't exist back then, folks. Constantine and the RCC put this KJV together. And so it really amuses me when you get into these radio programs where they just talk about fights over translations. Forget the translations, forget the Bible, and get into the Lord Himself. The Bible's great to hear His true messages that have been left there, the main core of His message. But how many people can quote the Bible and don't know a thing about the Lord Himself, don't have a personal relationship with Him? 10 years ago, the Lord told me, lead my people back to me. He didn't say, lead my people back into the Bible. Lead my people back into the church. Lead my people back into an organization or association. He said, lead my people back to me, because so many people have abandoned Him for the things they think they're supposed to be doing because that's what the churches tell them to do. And who did I just say was running the churches? Satan's running the churches, folks. They're not the Lord's churches. That's why I can't even begin to spend 2 seconds on a Pentecostal website. They talk about their prophecies and their visions and the supposed words from the Lord where he's talking about my church. He doesn't have a church. He has a bride. And his bride is not the church. People say we're in a church age. We're in an apostate age. Everybody's in churches being drowning in apostasies and not even being taught how to have a personal relationship with the Lord. It all comes with just starting to pray to him and asking him to reveal the truth to you in all things, and asking him to reveal himself to you, and asking him to lead and guide you into the truth and into having a relationship with him. Ask him to teach you, teach you how to have a relationship with him. It's all about relationship building and have a relationship with him, not about having a relationship with the church. This is just being in him 101, because I hate churchianity, I hate Christianity. It's just being with the Most High 101. And some of you get afraid or scared at some of the things that are coming. Just start, spiritual warfare 101, praise his name. Start praising his name, because that brings his instant presence to you when you start praising his name. And the Amaro is supposed to come in force this spring of 2008 from a listener. So spring of 2008. And I'm going to talk to these banker friends of mine and find out exactly how that would affect people with homes. Does that mean your payments are going to increase 9 times? Can you imagine the chaos if that would happen? Everybody in the streets homeless is what's going to happen, because 90% of Americans live paycheck by paycheck. And all of a sudden, the paycheck you brought home, which is probably on average from $500 to $800 a week, or $1,000 for most Americans, you now have $50 in your hand or $80 in your hand, and you have all these bills. And so it's going to be a mess. That's going to be quite a mess. A question from a listener. What are SILFs? How are they related to chemtrails? Could you elaborate? SILFs are, I have this on my website at hiddencodes.com. I actually did a Bible code on SILFs a couple of years ago. And they are fallen angels, and their judgment was to clean the atmosphere. They serve as like filters of the atmosphere. And what you'll see them doing is, when you see chemtrails sprayed in your area, you can watch these SILF clouds move in and eat the chemtrail clouds and kind of dissipate them. And so that's what they do. And that's why they're just so ugly and demonic looking, these SILF clouds. You ever look up in the sky and you see these clouds and look like demonic faces and dogs and these weird animals you can't even describe? I thought I was going to fall over a couple of years ago, and my husband ended up seeing the same thing not too long after I did. He's looking up in the sky and seeing a huge ship. I'm not talking about a UFO. I'm talking about a boat, a ship. A huge ship. And it's rolling across the sky. What the heck is that? And I didn't say anything about it until my husband said something about it a couple months later. And it was kind of funny then. It's like, what's these ships going on in the sky? What are the ships? People want to talk about SILFs. What are the ships? So I thought that was funny. So yeah, that's what they do, is they try to eat the chemtrails and combat them. But if you have orgone in saturated in your town or your area, chemtrails can't even stick. Then you have to wait for the SILFs. I heard on Steve Quayle that on the 14th, all military in the USA has been on stand down. Yeah, I just talked about that. They announced it themselves. It's on the Military Times news website. It's kind of like a plausible deniability, so if there's an attack, they can say, hey, we were on stand down, it's not our fault. Just like they did for 9/11, because Cheney ordered a stand down. Hi, Sherry, how are you? My question is, what do you think about Northcom's plans for 5-day martial law exercise on October 15th through 20th?